Emergency Management Associates members only meeting this afternoon. I was going to come on the air earlier today, but some things were going on that I need to take care of, and we're here right now with you on Emergency Management Associates. This is a members only meeting. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Ronald Tyler. I've been on this channel now for 2.5 years, approaching 2.5 years, and prior to that I had another channel under the same name for another 4 years. Why is that? The simple reason is this: YouTube didn't like me. YouTube still doesn't like me, and that's fine. My last channel got taken down by YouTube because they were increasingly being told by our former administration in Washington, D.C., that YouTube was to censor anybody's speech that did not agree with the administration's dialogue. They censored my program, they took me off the air many, many times, and then they finally took my program completely off of YouTube. That's when I left the air for about 3 days. I started another channel almost immediately 2 or 3 days later, and that's this channel right here. Now we've got over 6 years being on the air. Prior to that channel being taken down, I was talking about earthquakes, I was talking about volcanoes, I was talking about tsunamis, I was talking about hurricanes, tornadoes, shootings, and even a train derailment in Palestine, Ohio. I'm here now again, talking about those same things. I was also talking about COVID and the jab. YouTube didn't like that. YouTube was telling everybody that I was lying to the public, saying the jab was bad. That's exactly right today. We know for a fact the jab caused people to have heart attacks. The jab cost people their lives. Many people have died as a result of that jab. The mRNA portion of that jab has killed a lot of people. People are still dying today. People are having health problems as a result of that same injection. Incredible. We're still here on the air. I'm still going to continue doing my job as I've been asked by you all to do. I'm always going to do that. I want to make sure everybody realizes that. I will always support you. I will always do those things that you would have me do. One of the reasons I wanted to come on the air on this members only program today is because I want your assistance. I value what all of you say to me. I value your views on what you want to hear. Now, my question simply is this: what are the things that you want me to talk about on the program? Notice that I've also deviated from just talking about earthquakes and volcanoes. I've talked about all kinds of politics that affect each one of us, emergencies that affect each one of us. I want to make sure that we are talking about those things that you want me to be discussing on our program. I believe our members are very inspirational, number one. Number two, I believe our members talk the truth. I believe our members have the best objectives to what they want to see here on this program. And I will continue to do that. I will continue doing my best for all of you. I just want to make sure we are doing those things that you want us to do. Sage Pup says his best friend growing up as a kid, got a security job at Vanderbilt University. While COVID-19 was happening, they made him get the jab. He died 4 days later of a severe heart attack. That's exactly what happens. That is exactly what happens. Okay? The mRNA portion of the jab was bad. They knew it from the outset. They knew it from the outset. Dr. Fauci knew it from the outset. But unfortunately, they continue to do whatever they wanted to do. Dr. Fauci, as a result, is going to end up being arrested. Dr. Fauci knew where this virus came from Wuhan, China. He knew that. Yet he was saying everything else besides that. Bill Gates also knew what was going on. Bill Gates, if you remember, tried to tell us that he knew nothing. Bill Gates is the one that actually came up with the patent. Yes, the patent on the virus. Bill Gates had a patent on the virus at least 4 to 6 years before it even was released out to the public. Why did it spread so rapidly? Because having developed that virus in Wuhan, China, a lot of people became infected. They released that virus in Wuhan, China during the time that people went to China to remember the New Year in China, the Chinese New Year, as those people spread out throughout the globe to go back to their homes. The virus spread because they had been in contact with the virus in China. Then those people went back to their homes throughout the world, and they spread the virus rather quickly. This went on and on and on. Bill Gates denied it. Dr. Fauci denied it. Yet both of those gentlemen were instrumental in, 1, the development of the virus, and 2, the spreading of the virus. Now, what some people don't realize what happened. Bill Gates also had a patent on the shot. Bill Gates also developed the shot. Trisha Meyer is asking, where's my oxygen? My oxygen is right here. Sometimes I don't think I need it. Like right now, as long as I'm sitting down talking to all of you, my oxygen levels are just fine. Okay? I appreciate your concern, but I believe my oxygen levels are just fine. Anyway, like I said, Bill Gates also developed the vaccine for the COVID disease. However, Bill Gates also knew that the vaccine was not going to keep anybody else from getting COVID. Rather, the vaccine had its own elements to destroy humanity. And as a result, many people died of getting the vaccine. One of my friends here in Morganton, North Carolina, had her brother that had the jab. And he died in a hospital in Asheville, North Carolina. Yes, he died. He died as a result of COVID and the jab. Now, I feel bad. I feel bad. People that do evil, people that don't realize the very bad things that are happening, they're the ones mostly that are affected by what's going on around them. And yeah, that's exactly what happened. Those same people were affected by what was going on around them. I believe my friend's brother died as a result of that. Very sad. Very, very sad. But I did what I did it righteously, and I knew exactly what I was doing. YouTube didn't like it. YouTube was also being counseled by the Biden administration to take people down. We're talking about it. Telling YouTube to censor anybody and everybody that wasn't in total agreement or lockstep with the Biden narrative. That's true. I was in opposition to the Biden administration on many, many things, and I still am. And what happened as a result of that? This. Okay? President Biden was inept because of his health. There were other things wrong with Biden before he became president or even vice president. He was ill. He was ill because of his age. But even then, the people that were his handlers, yes, Biden had handlers. People that told him what to say, people that told him what to do, and he followed that. Then we ask a question like this: why in the heck was the Biden family violating the laws? Biden's entire family violated federal law, state laws, and city laws where they lived. Biden's own son, Hunter, had a briefcase and a computer. That computer was left at a computer programming place to get fixed. The person that got his computer realized that his computer contained a lot of things involving the government. So the computer programmer called the FBI. The FBI got hold of it and took custody of that computer. What did they find? All kinds of negative things against the President of the United States. But what they did find was evidence of Hunter Biden colluding with Russia, Hunter Biden's ineptness in violation of the law. They found pornography on his computer. They found Hunter Biden violating the law as well, and his own nudity with prostitutes that he had videoed. Yet, the Democrat narrative said something completely different. Said something completely different than the narrative that the Biden administration wanted to put out. They wanted to put out information that said President Trump was evil. But what was really evil was what the Biden administration, the Biden handlers were doing. Unreal. Really unreal. Hurricane Heather, no, you did not lose your wrench. Your wrench is safe here. You won't ever lose your wrench. I guarantee that. But Hunter Biden continued to violate the law. He went and applied to his government to be able to obtain possession of a handgun. Because of Hunter Biden's ineptness, Hunter Biden's clear violation of the law. He was a felon, a convicted felon. And yet he put in an application to buy a firearm in direct violation of the law. He was a felon. And in fact, if it wasn't for his father's pardon, just days before his father left office, Hunter Biden would be in jail today. Hunter Biden was facing conviction on gun charges, charges of prostitution, charges of violating the law. Now he's free because his father pardoned him. I don't think that pardon will last. I don't think that pardon will last. But everything the Biden administration said about President Trump was false. But every one of the charges that the Biden administration charged Trump with are the very charges that the Biden administration is guilty of themselves. And all of his handlers, all of Biden's handlers are going to be taken down. Very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. But folks, it's unreal. Shirlene is asking, can a pardon be revoked? Yes, it absolutely can. In this case, Biden pardoned, I hear, upwards of 1,600 people. Most people that have been pardoned by a president in history. Biden pardoned or brought sentences down of murders. People that were on death row in many, many prisons throughout this country are no longer on death row. He commuted their sentences, took them off death row. Biden pardoned all kinds of hardened criminals. Biden pardoned many of the January 6th committee, who are congressmen and women, because he knew, and I don't think he actually knew himself, but his handlers did. His handlers pardoned with the stroke of an auto pen. His pardons were not written by him, but by his handlers. And when those pardons went out, Biden was not anywhere near the auto pen. Biden did not know anything about it. Nothing. Nothing. And the more information that's coming out, the more information coming out about this, the worse it seems to get. Let's take, for example, the January 6th committee. The January 6th committee was made up of congressmen and women. One of them was Adam Schiff. Adam Schiff, formerly from New York. He later moved to San Francisco. He resigned his commission as a congressman because he ran for the Senate the next election. Pencilneck Adam Schiff won the election as a senator from California. One of the reasons that Adam Schiff was in trouble with Congress is because his participation on the January 6th committee was failed. How was it failed? He accused President Trump and the people that went into the halls of Congress on January 6th. He alleged false charges. He alleged false charges, false information as a sitting congressman. Pencilneck Adam Schiff was going to be censured by Congress for lying to Congress and lying to the American people. And he knew it. He knew it. So he resigned his commission as a congressman. He had other things up his sleeve, such as running for the Senate, which he did, and he won that Senate seat. What happened after he won the Senate seat? He proceeded to go after those people that President Trump wanted in his cabinet. And he made the same allegations against those people that President Trump wanted in his cabinet. He made the same allegations as he made about President Trump when he was a congressman. Yes, Charlene, he resigned his commission as a congressman, then he ran for the Senate from California and won. So basically, he never left the government service at all. But once he got back into the Senate, he made allegations against President Trump's cabinet members, saying how evil they were, doing the same kinds of things that he did when he was a sitting congressman. And he may be censured for those things. He may also be brought before the law, before a court, for violation of federal regulations. Yeah. But Pencil Neck Adam Schiff was not the only one. Let's take into concern a man named Liz Cheney. Not a man, but a woman named Liz Cheney from Montana. Liz Cheney was a Republican in name only from Montana. She also made false claims against President Trump and a lot of other people. She made so many false claims that at one point in time, she also was going to be thrown out of the Congress for lying to the American people and lying to Congress. So she resigned. Her resignation was official immediately. Then what happened after that? She disappeared into oblivion. Was very quiet. She's still not talking today because she knows what she did when she was a congresswoman on the January 6th committee. Every one of those people on the January 6th committee knew what they were doing. One of which is still in Congress today. Congressman Jim Jordan. Congressman Jim Jordan stood out for principles. He stood up for what is true, and he's still doing it. But every one of the Democrat members of Congress on the January 6th committee are going to be brought up on legal charges very soon. They all know what they did, and there is no excuse for what they did at all. Charlene says dirty deeds, yes. Dirty deeds rewarded elsewhere rewarding same issues, same fake behaviors. Absolutely. And as Charlene said here in the chat, something important. The common man would burn for the same things. Each one of us, if we had done what she did, what other members of Congress still do, we would have been in jail right now. Mary Emma says, isn't Cheney from Wyoming? She might be, I'm sorry. She may not be from Montana, she may be from Wyoming. My bad, I'm sorry. But Cheney's bad. Cheney's bad. The only reason she won election as a congressman was because her father was a former vice president. A former vice president. Unreal. Leopard's Girl says, we're 6 months into the presidency right now of this administration, yet no grand jury indictments of any kind on these evil people. Some grand jury indictments are forthcoming. They're forthcoming. We've already seen some arrests. A congresswoman from, I don't remember where she's from actually, right off the top of my head. I think she was from, well, I'm not even going to say. She showed up at the ICE holding facility in New Jersey. She showed up there demanding entrance to that facility because she's sitting as a congresswoman with oversight of the facility. But what she did is something that's reprehensible. She and two other representatives from Congress and the mayor of from New Jersey, not of New Jersey, but from a city in New Jersey, showed up at the Immigration Customs Enforcement holding facility in New Jersey without an appointment. No one shows up at a holding facility of any kind, including a federal penitentiary. ICE is a federal penitentiary holding facility run by federal officers. They showed up without an appointment. Without an appointment. Then that woman, congresswoman, pushed and shoved and even smacked a Border Patrol agent in the back with her fist. It's on video. It's on video. Assault and battery on a federal officer. She and two other congressmen and the mayor were arrested. The mayor was arrested on trespassing charges, which were dropped. But the Congress people that showed up there did what they did, are now in contempt of Congress and are also in violation of law. Assault and battery on federal officers. Assault in an attempt to get into a federal penitentiary. Yeah. And that woman will go down as assault and battery on a federal officer, punishable by at least 6 years in prison. Yet she said to the media, she told the media, they held news conferences saying she did nothing wrong. But video doesn't lie. Video doesn't lie. If you and I had done that, we'd be in jail right now. But because she said she was a sitting congressperson, she has special privileges. Special privileges. Is she going to get her hands slapped? Are the other two Congress people going to get their hands slapped? I hope not. I hope not. What am I talking about? Why am I even talking about this? I'm talking about this because I thought it was important. Number two, I want to address things on our channel that I believe things are important for each one of us to recognize what's going on. That's why. That's why. If it constitutes an emergency, I'm going to talk about it. If it constitutes someone's life being in danger, I am going to talk about it. I always have. I've talked about shootings. I've been on the air after shootings. I've been on the air after a train derailed in Palestine, Ohio, and put people's lives in danger. I've been on the air after tornadoes and hurricanes. I've been on the air during dangerous storms, even in the wintertime. I want to make sure we're talking about those things that are important that may save people's lives. Why did I come on the air right now? Because, folks, I want to get your opinion of what you would have me talk about. I want to make sure I am doing what you want me to do, not just talking about things that I feel that I should talk about. Again, I've talked about a lot of politics in the past. Do you want me to talk about that? Or do you want me to strictly talk about earthquakes and volcanoes? I will do whatever you want me to do. Now, Charlene's here in the chat. She just put up another post that I want to talk about. Following the crumbs, Heather, then the squeeze in a facility, yes. Gets results in ways and house are not ethical. Has no privileges for kings and queens. Feeling better than the system they serve. Exactly right. Bruno said here in the chat, it's emergency that vets that have served the United States of America are living in situations that are miserable. You're absolutely right. And yes, we've talked about that a little bit. We have talked about veterans living in squalor. When information came out about the Biden administration paying millions of dollars to a hotel in New York to kick out veterans that were there, to kick out veterans in a hotel in New York City that were there legally, that were being paid to be there by the Veterans Administration, and the Biden administration kicking our veterans out on the street so the hotel could be used to house illegal aliens. That's wrong. It's happened all across this nation. It's happened in Chicago. It's happened in New Jersey. It's happened in New York. It's happened in Texas. It was remedied immediately in Texas. It's still happening in California. Veterans have been kicked out of shelters to put illegal aliens in those shelters. Veterans living on the street don't even have anything, even a sleeping bag or some blanket to keep them warm. Unreal. Unreal. Yes, our veterans deserve better. And yes, I will talk more about that as well. Hurricane Heather says, I think we should cover any and all major current events and earthquakes and preparedness as well. I'm not going to forget earthquakes and preparedness. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to continue that as well. But I want to make sure we are honed in on what is real news rather than fake news. I do not want to talk about fake news ever again. Ever. Sage Pup says he's a Persian Gulf War veteran from 1990 to 1994. Still trying to get his VA help. Sage Pup, it's a shame that has happened to you. And some of your health concerns are also as a result of your service to our country. I know that for a fact. Knowing what I've seen in the past with our Gulf War veterans, and I've had quite a few people that I've associated with over the years about that very same thing. And yet, you folks that served there, you men and women that served in the Gulf War, are still not receiving benefits. And many of you have been injured as a result as well and have lost health. You've lost health, which is sad. Surgery said he did not get alerted that we went on the air. Surgery, you may want to check your subscription and make sure you still subscribe to this channel. You may also want to make sure that YouTube did not unnotify you. In other words, take your notification off the notification list. YouTube does that. YouTube's been unsubscribing at least 10 to 15 people a week. Yes, unsubscribing 10 to 15 people a week off our channel. and they don't notify others that want to be notified. So please check your subscriptions, ladies and gentlemen. Also, click on that little bell icon. There's a tiny little bell icon right next to the subscription button. When you click on that little notification bell, a drop-down menu of 3 items will come up. Click on the word ALL. That should get you notified when we come on the air. Unreal. Juby Joe says she's been in an ICE facility as a scheduled appointment, being rep for a copier company. She met with top management. She said when she left, she had to go through locked hallways for them to view her on camera. I also been in federal penitentiaries also for various law enforcement cases. The same thing applies to me as it does everybody else. I have to turn in my gear. I have to take off my duty belt. I have to take off my gun, take off my handcuffs, and put them in a safe place, a safe that nobody else had access but me. Because I was not allowed to move into a very secure space having a firearm or any other kind of weapon. That's normal. And then on the way out, we have to go through certain corridors and certain exits to be seen on video that we are indeed leaving. And that we're not taking contraband or anything else out with us. On your way in, you're also being videoed to make sure you're not taking contraband into the jail or any other secure system. That's protocol. That's protocol. Okay? I had to go through the same thing. Been there, done that. I've also been on the camera thing as well. I've watched cameras as a federal law enforcement officer to make sure people were passing through certain areas that were obligated to be there, that were not unnoticed to be there. Yes, people occasionally did sneak into facilities, and yet they were caught, and they were arrested for being there without permission. That happens. So yes, you guys want me to continue to talk about earthquakes and volcanoes, and also talk about various things that happen, current events. Charlene says, I would like to address the mass ice sheet melt at the South Pole flooding nation's coast. The rise of water is more rapid than previously thought. It needs to be discussed. The rise of water is normal this year. This goes on every year. All the ice is not melting. The news media would have us believe that we have climate change. It's not. It's not climate change. This is cyclical. This happens every year. The water is not rising at the beaches. The water is not rising at the beaches the normal tides. But the news media would have us believe that beaches in other nations are being flooded. That's not the case. There is no climate change per se. If the news media would have you believe that there's climate change, you need to ask them, where do you get your information? Where do you get your information? Have you looked at other years? Have you looked at decades of climate change and what's happened year to year? I've studied it. This happens at this time every year. And yet, they talk about climate change and ice melt. Earlier this year, they said there was more ice than ever at the North and the South Poles. And yet the news media is talking about ice melt now. To a certain extent, there's going to be some ice melt every year without fail. That's normal. Hurricane Heather says the planet has cooled down and warmed up for millions of years. Like I said, Hurricane Heather, you're right. But like I said, it's cyclical. It has nothing to do with climate change. The news media would have us believe that it's all wrong. Surrey's asking if I've discussed Yellowstone. Not yet. I will talk about Yellowstone. But the climate change isn't that. The news media and the elites would have us believe that our carbon is causing temperature rise. It is not. If anything, the carbon that we are releasing from our bodies, from what our cars are releasing, is absorbed by plants, trees around this world. Trees and plants thrive on carbon dioxide. There is no over carbon dioxide buildup at all. But the news media would have us believe we're all liars. We don't know what we're talking about. Hurricane Heather says we need more trees. Yes, we do. Down in the equatorial region of the Earth, where the Earth's bulge is. Yes, there's an Earth bulge at the equator. It's always been there. But down there in the equatorial region around the world, these same people that are calling for climate change have also cut down the trees in the Amazon and other places around the equator, where trees have been there for hundreds of thousands of years. Unreal. They would have us believe that we're going to die from having too much carbon dioxide in our atmosphere. Those same people that are saying that don't know what they're talking about. And then Tinny Pearl is saying cow farts. The Democrats and the world elites are saying that we must get away from eating beef. We must kill off our herds. We must kill off our cattle. We must kill off our deer. We must kill off our antelope and other animals because they're farting, because they're passing gas. Cow farts. Yes, that's exactly what their commenting is. They're releasing carbon dioxide and methane from their bodies. Everybody's doing that. The elites of our communities around the world are passing gas. Does that mean those people that are passing gas need to be put to death? That's exactly what they're saying. That's exactly what they're saying. Jeremy of the Jungle says, the fish poop in the oceans. You're absolutely right. What does that do to our water supply? Nothing. But these people will have you believe that we're going to die. That we're all going to die as a result of our automobiles. Governor Newsom from California. Yes, I changed his name to Newsom over a year ago. His real name is Governor Gavin Newsom. But I've called him Newsom for a long time. Why? Not just to disgrace him, because he is a disgrace. That's why I changed his name to Newsom. The things that Governor Newsom has done are wrong. They are violations of federal law now. He's gone from violating the rights of Californians in his state for violations of federal law. Yes, federal law. This man is a governor of a state. He's violating federal law. And on top of that, one of the worst laws that Governor Newsom has done is taking and putting transgender men into women's competitive sports. 2 women from a high school in California this past weekend that won in their categories were asked to stand on a podium next to a transgender man who won in a women's sport. The transgender man won in a women's sport. And those other 2 women that stood were supposed to stand beside him on the podium decided, no, they were not going to do that. No school, college or elementary or high school here in the United States is allowed to have women participating, or men participating in women's sports and women participating in men's sports. Yet Governor Newsom is violating federal law. He's violating a federal presidential order. And the schools are also violating the same presidential order. Why are they allowed to continue this unwholesome activity? Because their transgender men can't even participate in their own sports. So they think they have to participate in women's sports because they know they can beat women, so they can receive awards. What a crock of crap that is. Unreal. Hurricane Heather says in Oregon, the girls refused to take place on the stand because the male competed and won. You're right. But it also happened in Los Angeles this past weekend. Nan Han says plant more trees. That's in the process. Yes, we are planting more trees. Charlene is saying here in the chat, there's a staircase to heaven and a conveyor belt to hell. One time a friend and other snakes turn on their own to save their skin from being shed first. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Tinny Pearl saying stop killing dandelions and saving the bees. It's not just killing dandelions. They're using stronger and stronger chemicals to kill off our bees. They're doing it purposely. Why? Because they don't want the bees around to pollinate the other plants. The plants we need to have vegetables. The plants we need to have flowers as well. If we don't have bees, we're not going to pollinate those plants. And as a result, those plants are not going to flourish, they're going to die. They're going to cut back on our food supply. This is a planned event. The elites of our society are trying to kill us off. Unreal. Surgery is saying, how is that moron supposed to afford a $5 million new home on his wage? You're right. You're right. Just like every other politician, they have their fingers in the till. They have their fingers in the till. Why would Jasmine Crockett from Texas, a freshman congressman from Texas, on a $138,000 salary, have $10 million in the bank, when before she took the oath of office as a congresswoman, she had a $35,000 a year job. Now she is a multimillionaire. I can say the same thing about AOC. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez had a $30,000 a year job as a bartender and a waitress. And now she also is a multimillionaire. $140,000 salary. She's also a communist. She ran on the Democrat liberal community to get into Congress. And now she's a multimillionaire. There's something wrong with that picture. There's something wrong with that picture. It's happening every day. Surgery says it's deeply troubling. You're right. Charlene saying from poverty to the penthouse, waitress to multimillionaire. Now, Jasmine Crockett from Texas went from a $35,000 a year salary to $100,000 plus a year, and now she's a multimillionaire. How's it even possible? It's not. It's not. It's corrupt. It's absolutely corrupt. They have lobbyists that are paying off these congressmen and women. There are lobbyists in Washington telling these congressmen and women, we will give you so much money a year. We'll also help finance your campaigns if you do what we want you to do and do what we want you to say. That is exactly how they got into the money. They've also taken that money and invested it in the stock market, but not before having inside information on what stocks to buy and what to do. Insider trading, also a violation of federal law. Something, again, if you and I had done, we would have been in prison by now. Yet they are getting away with it. They're getting away with it. Money laundering. Tinny Pearl says they launder that called USAID. You're absolutely right. And while we're talking about USAID, Charlene, let's talk about that in real terms. Recently, we had a big, fat, beautiful bill that was approved by Congress. The Senate is presently tearing it apart. Why? Number one, that big, fat, beautiful bill does not contain some of the things that President Trump wanted. It doesn't contain many of the things that President Trump wanted. Number one, it doesn't contain any provisions to increase the monthly Social Security allotment to seniors. It was proposed that the seniors would get $200 more in Social Security every year, and it was first $500 a year, or not a year, but a month. They were supposed to get $200 a month extra in Social Security. That didn't happen. It's not in the bill. Not even $500 a month. But Congress proposed that the people receiving Social Security get a $4,000 tax decrease in taxes paid. That doesn't do anything for anybody. President Trump also said no seniors to pay taxes on Social Security. That also is not in the bill. There are many things that were supposed to be in that bill that are not. Now the Senate is destroying that bill. They're rewriting that bill. Do you think that they are going to propose an increase in Social Security money to Social Security recipients that are on Social Security below the poverty line? No, they're not. I doubt that's going to be in there. I am hoping that President Trump is going to do something about that. I hope. Because people on Social Security deserve to live better than they're living. Many Social Security recipients are living well below the poverty line, and that should not be happening for anyone, ever. Brokefish N is also saying any member of Congress, period, the Senate or the Congress people, House of Representatives, none of them should be serving any more than 2 terms. Term limits should also be brought into that discussion. Charlene talked about USAID. Doge cut $175 billion from the federal budget. And yet Congress did not codify right into that big, beautiful bill any of the cuts that Doge has done, saving the government money. None of that is codified, meaning that Congress can continue to go about and spend that money recklessly and reinvent USAID. If Congress, meaning the Senate and the House of Representatives, does not codify what Doge has done, That means that money can still go out the way it had been planned to be spent. Meaning, they can send $2 to Iraq for Sesame Street. That means they can spend $200,000 to buy condoms for people in Guatemala. That they can spend millions of dollars being sent to Russia. Why? Russia is one of our enemies. Russia is presently attacking Ukraine, and Ukraine attacking Russia. Those two countries are not trying to come to the peace talks. They're presently attacking each other, not defending each other. If they were seriously looking for peace, they would stop their shooting. But they're not doing that. They want World War III. They want World War III. Hurricane Heather says Trump is the president. He's the boss. You're right. President Trump should demand that Congress codify what DOGE has done. Otherwise, all that money that Elon Musk and his buddies in DOGE have tried saving the government is for naught. That would also mean all of those millions of people, those illegal aliens that were on Social Security up until a month ago, are going to continue getting Social Security money. Yeah, true story. Millions of illegal aliens were put on Social Security and were not Social Security recipients before that. They had not ever lived in this country, nor ever worked in this country before, but were put on Social Security. Hundreds of thousands of people that had died were still being paid by Social Security funds. People that were allegedly upwards of 350 some odd years old, allegedly still getting Social Security checks. And that money was being spent, which means, why was it still being spent? Why were they cashing that money? Why is that money being put in bank accounts? Why? Why? That should also be codified. That money be saved for Social Security recipients now and in the future. But nowhere is it in any of the documents that the House of Representatives sent to the Senate. And now the Senate is tearing apart the bill. What are they doing with it? I'm going to ask all of you. I'm asking each and every one of you to send a letter and an email and telephone call your Senate representatives, your senators. Call them, write them emails, write them hard copy letters today, telling them to codify what Social Security had been taken off because they were false information. Those people died. They should have been taken off Social Security rolls a long time ago. But the government was still paying someone. Someone. This should not have been getting that money. That again is against the law. We need to write our senators, calling our senators to stop it happening. Stop it from happening now and forever. It should not happen. Never again. I'm going to still talk about that. I'm going to talk about it until the cows come home. Because maybe, just maybe, what we talk about is going to reach out and touch a congressman and a senator and even the president himself to make sure the citizens of this country are taken care of before any other illegal aliens. We must rid illegal aliens from our country. More and more of our citizens are being killed and injured by illegal aliens. Today I just heard about another person that died in a car accident as a result of an illegal alien driving a car without insurance. Yes, an illegal alien driving a car without insurance killed somebody. That's also got to stop. All these illegals that came across the border during the Biden administration in the last 4 years need to be taken out and spanked and sent to other countries where they belong. I don't mind people coming into this country legally. I don't mind that at all. Our country was founded on legal immigration. My own grandparents came from Sweden and England. Yes, my own grandparents came from Sweden and England. Legally. That's not what's happening now. And it's got to come to a screeching halt. I've been paying into Social Security since I was 14 years old. Yes, I held a full-time job at 14 years old. While I was still in high school, I held down a job. I've been paying Social Security my entire life, paying taxes my entire life, as many of you have as well. We deserve what we were promised. I worked very hard. Like Sage Pup here, he's not getting his veteran benefits as he should. Because of Obama. I was a federal law enforcement officer. Obama cut the federal law enforcement pay, and as a result, they laid me off. And I'm being laid off. Yes, I would have loved to have stayed another year until I was 55 years of age. Then I would get my full Social Security benefits and my full law enforcement retirement. But what Obama did as well, he made sure that all federal law enforcement could not receive a dime of law enforcement retirement pay until we were at least 67 years old. I am still fighting to get my federal law enforcement retirement, and I'm 69. I should have had it 4 years ago. I'm still fighting for it now. Everyone, we need to be talking to our Congress people and turning the tide around. Wise Dove says it's hard to call them illegals when they were invited here and welcomed with money, tax dollar support. I don't even give a flying rat's butt if Biden and the Democrat Party welcome them in. They still violated the law coming here. They still crossed our border illegally, whether they were invited in or not. They still are illegal aliens. Okay? They still came across our border illegally, which makes it illegal, a violation of federal law. Now, every time that our borders are Tom Homan is confronted by that same fact. He throws it back in the media's faces because it's a violation of Title 8. It's a violation of U.S. Code Title 8. I think it's Section 1310, if I'm not mistaken. Crossing the border illegally. And we also have people that kill people. Terrorists, gang member terrorists, killing our citizens. It's still happening. That person in Boulder, Colorado on Sunday had violated his visa 3 times. Twice. Twice. The first time he came into the United States in 2022. He overstayed his visa the first time. Given another visa and overstayed it now the second time. So now he's been in this country illegally now 3 times. And he tried killing 8 citizens. And he said he'd do it again. An illegal alien killing and injuring our citizens. Does he belong here? No, he doesn't. Now he's going to be on our soil in a federal penitentiary, being held on $100 million bond in a federal penitentiary. Unreal. We are still going to pay him to be here. We're still going to have to house him. We're going to have to give him 3 meals a day. As an illegal alien and who tried to kill 8 people and said he would do it again. Unreal. Christopher Crook says, you're all drinking Kool-Aid heavy. Yes, I am. And I'm going to continue drinking the Kool-Aid. Folks, you too can drink this Kool-Aid. There's nothing wrong with what I'm saying. Nothing at all. But I am going to continue calling these illegals illegal because they are criminals. If you violated the law to come into this country, that makes it illegal and makes you a criminal. Period. Sage Pup says deport him 1 body part at a time. Oh, I would love to do that. I'd love to put him on the plane and then push him out of the plane over open water so he'd never be heard from again. That's what he really deserves. He deserves the same thing that he put those people through because he said he was going to do it again. Christopher Crook says, no, nothing wrong with your stance. It's fair to a degree. I believe it is. I believe it is. Yes, I get off on tangents. I do. I admit that. But folks, I'm tired of the American people being taken advantage of. President Trump said he was going to change things here in America, and I'm hoping he does. I've been here over an hour. I didn't mean on being here that long. Again, I ask all of you, I'm asking all of you, send me an email, send me a hard copy letter, letting me know what you're doing to be prepared for what's going to happen. Because it's going to happen. It doesn't mean it's going to be a natural disaster or a man-made disaster. It's still going to happen. You need to be prepared. Carol and I would love to get cards and letters from you telling us what you're doing to be prepared. And also telling us what you would like us to talk about. I would love to know what you guys individually would love me to talk about, because I want to talk about those things that are concerning you. That's more important than anything. That's more important than anything. Yes, Sage Pup says President Trump is trying, but there are so many sorry deep state actors trying to block everything he does. You're right. Even our own Supreme Court. Even our own Supreme Court. But again, I would like to hear from you. Carol would like to hear from you. Send us cards and letters. Our email address is rltnspdema@gmail.com. Our home address here, 504 Bethel Road, Box 401, Morganton, Morganton, North Carolina. The zip code here is 28655. You can also help support us by sticking in a donation into your cards and letters and sending it to us. When I come on the program in 2 hours, which I'm going to do, talking about natural disasters, At the bottom of the screen, you're going to notice a ticker tape going across the bottom with our address and also our places on PayPal and Venmo where you can help support our program and send us donations. We greatly appreciate that as well. You can also give us super chats to let us know you're going to support us and helping us keep this program on the air. We'd greatly appreciate that as well. Charlene is asking us to talk about the 2030 agenda, one world order ideologies. What can our children expect from this political nonsense? It's this geopolitical nonsense. Absolutely. How will the elderly survive the cost of aging in America? That's what I've been asking for a very long time. Folks, I love and appreciate each one of you that have been here today. Please help keep this program on the air. Please share this program far and wide with everybody you know. Everybody deserves to know what we're talking about. Everybody deserves to know that we have them in our back pockets. Because we're not putting this program on the air just for us. We want everybody else to benefit as well. We want everybody to be prepared for what is happening. May God bless you. God be with you this day and always. God be with you until we meet again. We'll see you on the air again at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Have a good one, guys. We love you. Take care. Charlene says, how do we protect assets from the system designed to sweep them into Medicare and Medicaid structures? I agree. We'll talk about it. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good day, everybody. Much love.